Hurricane Camille, The Monster Storm of the Gulf Coast, is a nonfiction book that chronicles the devastating hurricane known as Hurricane Camille, which struck the Gulf Coast of the United States in August of 1969. The book provided a detailed and gripping account of the storm's formation, its path of destruction, and its profound impact of the affected communities within that region. A description has been provided on the screen for Hurricane Camille. The keynotes that I want to point out is due to the unpredictable path that Hurricane Camille trajectory was on, most of the things that have been provided on the screen were a factor in this trajectory, or excuse me, in this turmoil that the community experienced. So the rapid intensification from the storm going from a Category 1 storm to a Category 5 hurricane in just 24 hours. Though Camille was small in size compared to other hurricanes, it had a lot of energy, which kind of correlated to the destructive force that it created. It also had high wind speeds that reached up to 75 miles per hour at its peak intensity. The storm also unleashed an exceeding 12 inches of rain per hour, which caused, severe flooding within the area. Also, the powerful storm surge reached as high as 24 feet in some areas, which caused a widespread of coastal flooding and erosion. And just overall, the destruction and devastation that Hurricane Camille left along the Gulf Coast, residents weren't able to recover. The storm caused extensive damage to infrastructures that included buildings, roads, bridges, and power lines. Many coastal communities were devastated by the storm surge, which led to the loss of homes, businesses, and livelihoods. Hurricane Camille, the months of the storm included a lot of loss of lives. The storm claimed the lives of an estimated 259 people, with the majority of the facilities occurring in Mississippi. The infrastructure damage that the hurricane caused along the Gulf Coast including, as I stated before, numerous buildings, which included homes, businesses, public structures, were destroyed and severely damaged by the strong winds and storm surges. The coastal devastation, the surge, which had reached as high as 24 miles, caused widespread flooding and eroding beaches. Additionally, the Gulf Coast region suffered significant economic losses as a result of the hurricane. The devastation of infrastructures, buildings, and tourism facilities had a profound impact on the local economy. The storm disrupted commercial activities, caused job losses, and required extensive investments in rebuilding and recovery. Lastly, the impact that Hurricane Camille had on the environmental aspect of the Gulf Coast region. The storm, powerful winds uprooted trees, damaged vegetation, and disrupted ecosystem. The flooding and storm surge contaminated the freshwater sources with salt water, which impacted the agriculture, the wildlife habitats, and fragile ecosystems, including marshes and wetlands. So the storm included, following the high impact that Hurricane Camille had on the Gulf Coast, the lessons learned from the storm led to significant changes in codes, policies, and standards related to the disaster preparedness and response. Some of those key changes included, but did not limit to, building codes and standards, evacuation plans and emergency management, storm surge forecasting and warning systems for the residents who were caught off guard, floodplain management and coastal zoning, which helped reevaluate the floodplain management. The storm demonstrated, due to its vulnerability, emergency response and coordination, and public awareness and education. Hurricane Camille underscored the importance of public awareness and education. The storm led to increased efforts to educate the residents about the risks associated with hurricanes, the importance of evacuation plans, and the need to secure homes and properly prepare before a storm strikes. How did this shape public policy? The storm created a lesson for the emergency and management field. It required that the implementation of federal disaster response and assistance needed to be created. A national flood insurance program was also provided for those homeowners in business areas and flood-prone areas, land use and coastal zone management, evacuation and sheltering plans, to improve the communication systems to ensure that timely and orderly evacuations happen on time, disaster mitigation and resilience, and public education and awareness. Following the strengths and weaknesses of the overall book that were noted, that I noticed throughout my reading, is that the author did thorough research. It provided a comprehensive coverage of the storm, the effects of the storm, the impacts, what residents were insightful of and what they weren't. It was just all around insightful analysis. A weakness that I noticed is that there was a lack of visual content, it was a limited perspective, and there was no technical language. Strengths and weaknesses